Welcome back. Today we're going to take a deeper look at the FULLPROB's most important function, the gasoline ECU test. Once we have found the system that we want to test, double-click to open the test screen. Click on Gasoline ECU Test to open the Make and Model menu. The search function helps us find the system quickly. We can search by model or by ECU. Once we have found the system that we want to test, double-click to open the test screen. From here we can open the Connection Assistant, control the ECU test, and visualize the ECU's main functions working in real time on the screen. We can also access technical information about the system. First, let's have a look at the test screen. Up here we have the Information menu that has several buttons. We will now get to know them one at a time. Acceleration. In this section, we can find the connections between the ECU, the throttle body, and the pedal. Pinout. Here we can see an image of the ECU pins and their nomenclature. We will always see the module side of the connector in order to make it easier to make connections on the bench. To zoom in, double-click on the image. Pin to pin. This table shows us how to make the connections using the universal cables for a bench test. These are the connections that will allow the ECU to run on the bench. We can see the connector's name, which branch of the connector to use, the cable's function and color, and the pin of the ECU to which we must connect it. Strategy. This screen contains information about the ECU's behavior when the immobilizer is not connected. Sometimes there is other useful information we might need to run the ECU on the bench. ID. This section is part of the technical information that you need to make a repair on a module. The images will show the ECU's main components, their location on the PCB, their function, and their commercial name. Wiring diagram. Here we can find the wiring diagram of the ECU's main functions as well as the connections to the immobilizer system. InmoBox. InmoBox and full diesel users will have access to this section. Here we can see what modules make up the immobilizer system, as well as a table that shows us how to connect them using the universal cables in order to do a bench test. It also gives us instructions as to how to connect a scanner. In another video, we will have a detailed look at how to make these connections. Summary. The quickest table to read in order to make all of the necessary connections once you are more familiar with the tool and its connectors. Additional connection. This section will appear whenever additional connections must be made in order for the ECU to run on the bench. It may contain other useful connection information. Internal circuits. This section contains didactic and professional information about the main functions of the PCB. You can see the circuits that connect the main components to their peripherals such as resistors, diodes, capacitors, and integrated circuits. In the lower section of the screen, we have the controls and the indicators for the bench test. Terminal 15 switch, RPM generator to simulate synchronized cam and crank signals. In this area, we can control the sensor simulation of the sensors that input to the ECU. Air temperature, coolant temperature, throttle position, manifold air pressure, vehicle speed, and O2 sensor. This area has all of the indicators that allow us to visualize how the ECU is working. Main relay activation, check engine light, fuel pump relay activation, stepper motor, engine fan, solenoid valve, air conditioner activation, 4 injectors, and 2 ignition coils. 2 voltmeters to check battery and sensor voltage. 2 ammeters to monitor terminal 15 and terminal 30 current. Pinout. This button shows us the functions of the pins of the FULLPROB. This is the information that you need to make your own connectors. Tools. The Help button helps you find where to place the FULLPROB's connectors. Save allows us to save the crank and cam signals to memory. This will allow you to take the full probe to the vehicle and simulate the signals without taking your computer. Report. This generates a report that you can print out and send to your customers. Protection. The full probe has a current protection to protect both your tools and the modules that you're testing. You can turn off this protection temporarily in order to run certain tests. Be sure to only turn off the protection after careful consideration and when it is absolutely necessary. When you return to the main menu, the protection will turn back on automatically.
That's it for today's video. Be sure to watch the next video where we are going to show you how to test this ECU step by step. Thanks for watching.